And joining us now is Tom Abbott, the general manager of KFSK-FM, a public radio station that's reliant on that federal funding, based out of Petersburg, Alaska, a remote island fishing town in the southeastern part of that state. Tom, thanks for being here. Talk about the role your station serves in Alaska, the community you serve.
Good morning, Anna. Yeah, thank you. We're an island community. All of Southeast Alaska is an archipelago of islands where access is by air or boat only. We provide service to central Southeast Alaska, and this area is commercial fishing dominated with pretty good-sized communities around us, but we're all small communities, but we kind of feel like one town in Southeast Alaska, and we're all connected through public broadcasting. And KFSK's role, aside from the fact that we're the only daily news service, we're the only radio signal that's on the air. There is no other service here. And in times of emergency or severe weather, KFSK is a lifeline. And on an everyday basis, we're companionship to people, but we also broadcast connections, a live broadcast of the borough assembly meeting or a school board meeting, hospital board meetings.
It's how people understand what's happening in your community, it sounds like, and in the world. You told the New York Times that federal funding makes up 30% of your budget. If you lose that money, what happens?
Well, the very first thing we're going to do is have community town hall meetings and discuss how we're going to go forward. We'll certainly not be providing the local service that we currently do. We'll definitely be. It's not going to be the same. This is the 48th year. I've been here for 35 of those 48 years that KFSK has been broadcasting. And we're a vibrant 24/7 full service radio station with, a lot of more than 50% of our broadcast day is local content. And so we serve this community. It's our mission of service to provide the community a venue to have a conversation. Whether it's a local election coming up, we'll have the candidates that are running for office on the air for a candidate forum. It's direct access from people that live here to elected officials. Every month we have a live call-in program with borough officials, school board officials, hospital officials. We broadcast high school basketball games.
Yeah.
We've got volunteers that host programs daily, 5 of them a day. They're aged 12 to 82.
I can tell that you take this responsibility, the public service piece of what you offer, so seriously and to heart, and providing that information on a plethora of different topics and different voices for your listeners. You've made the point that your station's actually a life-saving resource and played an important role during emergencies. Explain that.
Yeah, in fact, I just got a local grant from the local community foundation here. The Petersburg Community Foundation provided us with funds to purchase new emergency alert equipment. So now we have a redundant backup source for emergency equipment in the event that there's a failure of any equipment. We've got 2 systems now in place, and we've had to use our emergency alert system several times in my time here. In fact, as I mentioned earlier, Southeast Alaska is a series of islands. There have been 5 different communities that have had landslides in the past several years. 4 of those communities have had fatalities with those landslides. Luckily, in Petersburg, when we had a landslide on Halloween evening about 2 years ago, there were no fatalities here, but there have been fatalities in Haines and Sitka, Ketchikan, and Wrangell. And Juneau, also our capital city, had flooding recently that was devastating. And we're the outlet to provide the conduit of a conversation to get information out from the first responders to the public telling the public what to do so that the first responders aren't hampered by the public contacting them and calling with worry or wanting information in a time of emergency when they need to be advancing their work.
I think that's something that hits home for all of us right now as we continue to cover what's happened in Texas with the communication breakdown that, you know, came during a time of emergency there with flooding. Petersburg, I understand, is largely conservative. Roughly 2/3 of voters supported Trump in the last election. What are you hearing from your listeners who voted for the president about these cuts that he wants to make to your station and public broadcasting more broadly?
Well, that's I've fielded complaints from listeners through the years about coverage on NPR and such, but they've always supported KFSK. We've got 2 reporters. They work very hard. They really cover this community very well, and they support our local service, and that's what they really support. Although there are plenty of people that still really enjoy NPR and the service that they provide with us. We also broadcast BBC to provide us with a more international feel and update daily. But, you know, it's one of those things where you can criticize something on the big picture, but when you narrow it down to what you like, they don't want to see our station be cut.
Right. Right. And that's where the real life impacts of some of these ideas start to hit home. Tom Abbott, thanks so much for providing that insight for all of us and understanding of what's happening in your region and the work you do.
Thank you so much.